Hello, here is the polynomial test review in case you missed it in class today or you wanted to see it again. All right, so for number one, our operation is adding. We're going to add like terms. So I've got 3x squared plus 7x squared. That would be 10x squared. And then I've got 7x minus 3x. 7 minus 3 would be 4x. And then minus 3 plus 9, negative 3 plus 9 would be plus 6. For number two, this time we are subtracting. And you have to be careful on this one because they're out of order. So we've got negative 4a squared minus 2a squared. So negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6a squared. And then I've got 3a minus 7a, so 3 minus 7 would be negative 4a. And then I've got 1 minus 8. 1 minus 8 would be negative 7. Number three, we're back to addition. We've got d squared plus d squared. That would be 2d squareds. 2d plus 3d. 2 plus 3 is 5d. 3 plus a negative 1, that's the same thing as 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 would be 2. Number four, back to subtraction. We've got 2n squared minus 3n squared. 2 minus 3 would be negative n squared. And then I've got negative 7n minus negative 4n. So negative 7 minus a minus, that's going to become positive. So negative 7 minus a minus 4. That'd be negative 7 plus 4, which would be negative 3n. And then we've got 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Number five. For this one, first thing we need to do is get rid of our parentheses. So 3x squared is going to be by itself. And then I've got plus 1 times 5x. That plus 1, when I distribute it, it's not going to change anything. So 1 times 5x is 5x. 1 times negative 4x squared is negative 4x squared. We can essentially drop those parentheses. Then I have a positive 6. What I do need to distribute, though, is this negative 1 times 7x would be negative 7x. Negative 1 times 1 would be negative 1. Now I'm at the point where I can combine like terms. So I've got 3x squared minus 4x squared. 3 minus 4 is negative 1x squared. 5x minus 7x. 5 minus 7 would be negative 2x. And then 6 minus 1 would be 5. Number 6. Again, for this one, the 3q squared and the 6q squared, nothing's happening with them. All we're really doing is multiplying this negative 2/3. So negative 2/3 times 3q would be negative 2q. Negative 2/3 times negative 7 would be positive 14/3. If fractions aren't your thing, don't stress out. You can plug that straight into your calculator. Negative 2/3 times 3, and your calculator will tell you it's negative 2. Once we've distributed that negative 2/3 and we've gotten rid of the parentheses, the only like terms I have are my q squared. So 3 plus 6 would be 9q squared. The other guys just do not change. You just drop them down because you have nothing to add or subtract to them. And that would be your answer. Number 7, we're going to distribute negative 4x to everything inside the parentheses. So negative 4x times x squared would be negative 4x cubed. Remember, x times x squared is x times x squared. We add those parentheses, and so it becomes x cubed. And then I've got negative 4 times negative 2, that's positive 8. X times x would be x squared. And then negative 4x times 3. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, and then x. Number 8. 2x plus 3 is the same thing as 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. So we're going to make a box over here. We got 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3. My first box here is 2x times 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. Then I've got 2x times 3. 2 times 3 is 6x. 3 times 2x would be 6x. And then 3 times 3 would be 9. I'm going to combine like terms when I write it out. I've got the 4x squared. Combining 6x plus 6x gives me 12x. And then plus 9. Number 9. This one's division, so we're going the opposite direction here. Remember when we do division, all we're concerned about is our first term and our last term in the numerator. First term, first box, last term, last box. And then we got x plus 3 as our factor. And ask yourself, what times x will give me x squared? And it would be x, because x times x gives you x squared. And then what times 3 gives me 12? That would be 4. So my answer is x plus 4. 4 times 3 gives you 12. Number 10. Again, back to multiplication. It's binomial times a binomial. I'm going to set up my box. I've got 2x plus 3, 5x minus 3. 2 times 5 is 10. X times x is x squared. Next one is 2 times negative 3 would be negative 6x. 3 times 5 would be 15x. For my last ones, I've got 3 times negative 3. That's going to be negative 9. Combining like terms, I've got 10x squared. Then 15 minus 6 would be plus 9x minus 9. Number 11. This time we're just distributing this x to everything, which really all it does is increase the power of my terms by 1. So x times 2x squared would be 2x cubed. X times negative 2x would be negative 2x squared. X times 5 is 5x. See how each exponent increased by 1. 12, I've got x plus 4 times x plus 2. X times x is x squared. X times 2 would be 2x. 4 times x would be 4x. And then 4 times 2 would be 8. Combining like terms, I've got x squared. 4x plus 2x would be 6x. And then plus 8. Number 13, another multiplication. Another by times by, so we're going to have a 4 square box. Put my factors on the bottom and the top. It does not matter which one goes where, so don't stress out about that. 2y times y, that would be 2y squared. 2 times 3 would be 6y. Negative 1 times y would be negative y. And then negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Combining our like terms, I've got 2y squared. 6y minus y would be 5y. And then minus 3. Number 14, division. Again, the only things we're worried about are the first term, 2x squared, and our last term, negative 3. We put our factor down the side. What times x would give you 2x squared? Well, I've got one of the x's, so I still need a 2 and an x. And then what times 3 gives you negative 3? And that would be 1. That's your answer. Number 15, we've got a perimeter question. A perimeter is just adding each of the sides. If it's an equilateral triangle, all sides are equal. That's why it's called equilateral. And these symbols here mean each of these sides are equal to each other. So I can either write it out as 2x squared plus 3x plus 14 plus 2x squared plus 3x plus 14 plus 2x squared plus 3x plus 14. Or if you prefer multiplication, you can do 3 times, because you've got 3 of those guys, times 2x squared plus 3x plus 14. Both of these will give you the same answer. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 would be 6x squared. 3 plus 3 plus 3 would be 9x. 14 plus 14 plus 14